Now, from Nebraska's trusted news source, this is Channel 8 News at 5.
Coming up tonight on the news, for the fourth time this week, firefighters battled a house fire below freezing temps.
Plus, the fight against domestic abuse, a bill at the state capitol is looking to help victims. But first,
we have the latest on the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Ukrainian officials are urging the military to keep fighting.
All men ages 18 to 60 are forbidden to leave the country. NATO has announced the activation of its response force. ABC's M. Wynn is in Washington with the latest.
Heavy fighting in and around Ukraine's capital of Kyiv, where gunfire and explosions are forcing residents into their homes or underground into subway shelters. But a senior Pentagon official tells ABC News that the Russian advance into Kyiv has been slower than Moscow anticipated, and their troops have met resistance. Meanwhile, Ukraine's president says his family is in hiding, but he defiantly posted a video of himself and other key government officials in central Kyiv, saying, quote, "We are here." Earlier, he called on Russian leader Vladimir Putin to negotiate, but the Kremlin says they'll talk when order is restored. Analysts say Russia's real goal is to get Ukraine to surrender and to vow never to join NATO.
He does not want a country that is edging towards the EU, that's edging towards democracy, on his doorstep. He wants to create that buffer from NATO.
NATO convened a special summit, President Biden joining virtually from the White House, where leaders again urged Russia to cease its military action. NATO announcing it's activating the response force, the potentially 40,000-man force that would serve a deterrence and defense role.
We condemn Russia's aggressions in the strongest possible terms.
The European Union placing a freeze on the assets of both Putin and Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Officials tell ABC that about a third of the 150,000 Russian fighters have entered Ukraine, but now the remaining troops are resupplied and will likely cross the border all at once. So far, Russia launched more than 200 missiles at Ukraine's military targets, and some civilian areas were reportedly hit. Civilians who are trying to leave the country are facing hour-long waits at the border and massive traffic jams. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees says an estimated 50,000 Ukrainians have fled the country in the last 2 days, and that at least 100,000 have been displaced, though that number is likely much higher. M. Wynn, ABC News, Washington.
And as heavily armed Russian troops head toward the capital of Ukraine,
Ukrainian citizens are taking up arms to defend their country, and that includes their former president.
We are fighting for democracy and freedom against Russian aggressor. Without any reason, Putin make an attack of us, and Putin should feel himself in the hell. This is his future. And your sanction definitely help him to feel exactly like that.
In the meantime, residents across the country are fleeing for their lives. Polish authorities say that as of today, nearly 30,000 Ukrainians have crossed into Poland amid the unfolding crisis.
Governor Rica is releasing a statement on the situation, saying America cannot let Putin's invasion of Ukraine go unchecked. We need to issue a swift response that will isolate Russia like we did during the Cold War. Direct sanctions will make it clear that the free world will not tolerate global aggressors. We have his full statement on our website, klkntv.com. A political science professor and Russia expert at Creighton University is sharing his take on the Russia attack in Ukraine.
Yeah, Dr. Terry Clark says there are several outcomes the Russians may have in mind, but thinks that installing a puppet government in Kyiv is most likely.
They're going to seize the capital, Kiev. They're going to install a government that they want. They're going to back it with Russian military forces, and they're going to, reconstruct the Ukrainian military and intelligence services so that they are pro-Russian, and then they're going to, not really formally integrate it, but they will have cowed it, and they will make sure that Ukraine is a pro-Russian state.
Clark also said he believes the U.S. has misunderstood Russia's relationship with Ukraine, and that has been reflected in American policy over the last 3 decades. No doubt about it, there is a lot going on right now in the world, and some children may be seeing traumatic videos through their social media.
Today, a therapist spoke about how children's mental health may be impacted by what they see on their screens.
We gotta stay hopeful. That's the thing that we don't want to lose is hope. And if that's the case, then you'll start to see, young people start to get more depressed and anxious.
He says the most important thing for parents is to be open with their children and communicate with them about what's going on. Now, of course, some information may need to be filtered when it comes to your children, but you shouldn't completely hide what's going on. He also says that parents shouldn't be scared to reach out to a mental health expert to get their kids help.
Nebraska averages around 14 deaths due to domestic abuse every year.
Today, one senator made the first step to try and prevent more of these deaths from happening. Channel 8's Ariana Martinez explains how the bill would do that. Ariana?
Yes, Senator Tom Brandt hopes to form a domestic abuse review team that would look at domestic violence cases and find things that may be falling through the cracks or ways law enforcement or the local government can step in and do more. Today, I had the honor of meeting two individuals who had family members taken away from them in this horrible way. They share their stories to hopefully help others.
My mom was shot to death in her own home by the person she worked so hard to protect herself from. Because of these real-life experiences, I strongly believe Nebraska needs more laws surrounding domestic violence and protection orders.
Andy Koch lived a nightmare as she watched her mom deal with domestic violence and ultimately lose her life to it. She and others share their stories to help others.
Doing what we're doing right now is what I think my mom would want us to do, to help save other women from domestic assault relationships or even murders. It means a lot to a lot of families, I think.
For me and my family, it's just the ability to know that my sister's death isn't in vain and that we're trying to fix a system that's broken and that failed her so that it doesn't fail future families.
This bill would create a domestic abuse review team, which would evaluate domestic abuse cases to see where law enforcement, the government, or special nonprofit services could step in and do more.
Anytime there is a homicide that's related to domestic violence, there are always questions in communities about how did this happen, why did this happen, how do we prevent it from happening again, and the opinions about that are always different. And we hope that LB 1009 will actually create a process to prevent future homicides.
This would also give smaller communities more help to fight this problem.
3 of my 4 counties, the sheriff is the law enforcement for the entire county, and they're stretched very thin. So anything we as a state can do to enhance their ability to stop domestic violence and stop domestic violence from escalating into a death, we are more than willing to look at.
Nebraska is one of only 9 states who do not have something like this in place. 41 other states do and are seeing success with it.
Oftentimes, the victim of domestic violence has a protection order or a PO out there, and it's a piece of paper. And a piece of paper often doesn't stop somebody from walking through the piece of paper and doing some serious harm to the victim.
So far, there has been no public opposition to this bill. It is supported by Nebraska's Attorney General, and citizens from the Cherokee Nation explained how this would help so many Native Americans from going missing or experiencing domestic violence.
Ariana Martinez, thank you very much for that story tonight.
Let's get an update on your weather now with Chief Meteorologist John Dissauer. Kind of heading in the right direction here, John.
Yeah, warmer temperatures out there for sure. Warmest day in 4. We've been in the teens the last several days. Today we've made it up to 30 degrees officially in Lincoln. Take a look at the temperature difference from 24 hours ago. First, I'm going to show you a live view outside. As we look off to the northwest, you can see we've had lots of sunshine today, and also lots of sunshine as we look to the southwest there from Honda of Lincoln. Now, this is showing you the temperatures compared to 24 hours ago. We're running 10 to nearly 20 degrees warmer, so it's feeling much nicer out there. 29 right now in Lincoln. It's 29 in Beatrice, 32 in Aurora, holding on to 33 in both Kearney as well as in Grand Island. A little bit of a wind, but notice the winds are now out of the south-southwest. That's helping bring us some warmer temperatures up our way, but still giving us a wind chill at times. It feels like it's in the 20s. Satellite imagery showing you the clear skies around the area, and that's how we should remain as we go through the overnight. We'll have clear skies. Now, as we go through the evening, clear skies, 18 degrees by 8, 16 degrees by 10. Just how cold we get tonight, because we will have the clear skies around and relatively light winds. Also, we're talking about lots of sunshine for the weekend. Well, the details coming up in my Storm Alert Team forecast in just a few minutes.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, John. For the 4th day in a row, area firefighters have found themselves battling house fires and the bitter cold.
This morning, a fire started south of downtown Lincoln. The house is a total loss. It was just 5 degrees when this latest fire broke out around 8:45 this morning. A home near 20th and Sumner. When Lincoln Fire and Rescue crews arrived at the scene, heavy smoke from a single-story home could be seen from blocks away. Firefighters saw flames when they entered the home, but they were soon ordered out for their safety.
There was a lot of debris in the home, and the walkways were obstructed. So we were unable to really get in and make an effective stop. You may have heard an air horn that sounded, and that was to alert all of our crews to make way out of the structure.
Firefighters were then forced to battle the blaze from the outside.
Our operations are continuing to find those hot spots from the exterior. That always lends a few additional challenges, because it's difficult for us to do what we normally do and pull ceiling and move items out of the home in order to make sure that there's nothing still burning inside the home.
Officials say 2 people were inside the home when the fire started. One of them suffered minor injuries while escaping. Investigators say the cause of the fire was due to some clothing piled too closely to a space heater. Other than the house being considered a total loss, an official damage amount has not been released. And investigators told me to please stress to you, all of our viewers, we included, do not put anything within 3 feet of a space heater. As COVID cases drop around the country, the CDC has begun to ease masking guidelines.
They now say that counties in the low category will no longer need to wear masks.
We're in a stronger place today as a nation with more tools to protect ourselves and our communities from COVID-19, like vaccination, boosters, broader access to testing, availability of high-quality masks, accessibility to new treatments, and improved ventilation.
About 70% of the counties in the U.S. are currently in the low category, which is the green color there on the map. Now, I know the map is a little difficult to read, but in Nebraska, there is a mixture of the low, medium, and high category counties. The CDC says that people should still go out and get vaccinated, even if your county is in the low area. Still to come on the news tonight, President Biden has named a nominee for the vacant seat on the Supreme Court.
That in your full forecast right after the break. An historic moment today in Washington as President Biden nominated a black woman to sit on the nation's highest court.
He spoke this afternoon about his landmark decision, saying nominee Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson represents America. ABC's Rena Roy has more.
President Biden making history Friday, fulfilling his campaign promise to nominate a black woman to the nation's highest court, a first in this country. The president saying he went through a rigorous process to select Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson over the last month, praising her legal knowledge and experience.
I promised the process would be rigorous, that I would select a nominee worthy of Justice Breyer's legacy of excellence and decency.
I am truly humbled by the extraordinary honor of this nomination, and I am especially grateful for the care that you have taken in discharging your constitutional duty in service of our democracy.
Jackson currently serves on the D.C. Court of Appeals, the president appointing her last year. She was confirmed by the Senate to that seat with Republican support. The Republican National Committee releasing a statement on this nomination, calling Jackson a radical left-wing activist who would rubber stamp Biden's disastrous agenda. Adding this pick shows Biden put far-left special interests ahead of defending Americans' rights and liberties. Democratic Whip James Clyburn saying this is a glass ceiling that took far too long to shatter. If confirmed by the Senate with a simple majority of 51 votes, Jackson would be replacing longtime Justice Stephen Breyer, who's retiring, a mentor of hers who she clerked for years ago. From 2013 up until last year, she served as a United States District Judge. She also has experience as a federal public defender.
If you look at Ketanji's whole life experience and all the things she's done, that's just not a story of elite. It's a story of someone who's, always been very hardworking.
A new ABC News Washington Post poll shows 78% of Democrats think having a black woman on the Supreme Court would be a good thing for the country, while 70% of Republicans say it would make no difference. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Now, your Storm Alert Team forecast with Chief Meteorologist John Dessauer.
Not too bad of a day. Lots of sunshine around the area. Temperatures warmer than what they've been the last several days, where we've degrees, so we well have surpassed that, and we're going to keep climbing as we go through the next several days. In fact, we've got a nice weekend coming our way. That was a live look from Schoen's Roofing in Beatrice. This is a look off to the east in Lincoln. Hardly a cloud to be found out there at all. Hey, while it's not severe weather season by any means, we've not had much weather at all to deal with as far as things coming from the sky. I want to let you know and remind you, on Monday, this coming Monday, the National Weather Service is starting in-person storm spot. Are the virtual classes. You can actually go somewhere to see them and to learn about storms. So if you have interest, Seward County at the Civic Center in Seward will be having one at 7 o'clock on Monday. They are taught by a Weather Service meteorologist, and there is no fee to attend. So they usually last 2 to 2.5 hours. If you or let's say a teenager have interest in storms, I highly suggest going out there and taking part, because we can use more eyeballs out there to help pass along severe weather information when we have storms going on. Temperature-wise, around the city, we've got temperatures in the upper 20s to near 30 degrees, holding pretty steady at 29. So you go to the south, it's 29 in Beatrice, 30 in York, and 33 degrees in Grand Island. Winds are out of the southwest, 5 to 12 miles per hour, giving us wind chill values into the lower 20s to mid 20s. So there is a little bit of a wind chill, but nothing like what we've been experiencing the last several days. As you can see on the satellite imagery, we have clear skies overhead, maybe a few clouds down towards Hastings, but that's about it. We'll keep our skies clear tonight, and that will allow our temperatures to drop. It'll get cold, but not as cold as what it has been recent mornings. We'll get down to 11 degrees in Lincoln. This morning it got down to 1 below in the capital city, 12 in Beatrice, down to 10 in Columbus, and out only to 14 degrees in Hastings as well as in Grand Island. For tomorrow, I do think we'll see a lot of sunshine around. There could be a couple high, thin clouds passing at times, but that's about it. Temperatures into the upper 30s to low 40s by noon. As we head through the afternoon, temperatures will continue to rise. I think we eventually make it into the middle and upper 40s. Winds will be out of the south-southwest, 5 to 12 miles per hour, up to 47 degrees in Lincoln, maybe a little cooler down towards Beatrice, but I think we could hit 47 in Hastings as well as in Grand Island. Second half of the weekend right now still looks to be the best day of the weekend, of temperatures climbing not only into the upper 40s, but we're talking highs into the upper 50s by late afternoon. And this is starting a pattern change as we're going to start seeing our temperatures warming up as we go through the next several days. And through much of the upcoming week, we are going to start to see a ridge of high pressure developing off to the southwest. And that's going to allow us to on the on Monday, 60, or make that 60 degrees on Monday, not 58. 58 on Sunday. On Tuesday for March 1st, 57 degrees around here. 59 on Wednesday, low to mid 60s then for the end of next week. And as we head in towards next weekend, maybe some slightly cooler temperatures coming our way and a chance for some showers late Friday night through the day on Saturday and low 40s by Sunday.
Wow, that looks like a nice 10-day. All right. Thank you very much, John. A huge day on Wall Street today. The Dow skyrocketing 835 points. NASDAQ climbing 221. Here are your numbers. You're watching Channel 8, Nebraska's trusted news source.
Finally tonight, a terrifying close call was caught on camera.
And it's now being used to teach motorists a valuable lesson. Here's tonight's Take a Look at This.
Harrowing dashcam video from Vermont shows a roadside moment turned chaotic when a passing car loses control and rolls over mere feet from a state trooper. Vermont State Police said the trooper, who was assisting a driver, had to jump out of the way to avoid the tumbling vehicle, which contained a man and 2 children. Thankfully, a detailed incident report revealed that the occupants did not suffer any life-threatening injuries, including the driver, who was reportedly thrown from the vehicle. Authorities shared the video online to remind drivers to wear their seatbelts, calling the incident as close as it gets. Speaking of close calls, a doghouse hit by a meteorite in Costa Rica in 2019 recently nabbed a pretty penny at auction. Just over 44 grand to be exact. The house's former tenant, a dog named Roki, was inside the structure when the space rock pierced the roof, narrowly missing the animal. A Christie's rep said objects hit by meteorites are extraordinarily rare, which would explain how the rusty wooden doghouse sold for more than twice as much as the actual meteorite, which was also auctioned. About 500 meteorites reach Earth each year, but considering they rarely strike anything, Roki should consider himself one lucky dog. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Lucky indeed, right? I think a lot of people would say we're lucky with the 10-day forecast.
And especially this weekend. We got through the cold during the week, and now we can enjoy it this weekend.
Mother Nature's got this timed out pretty well because last weekend, remember Sunday we were in the mid-60s, so at least a nice weekend around here. And it looks like this weekend will be the same with highs tomorrow in the 40s. Sunday we'll see highs in the 50s. Now this evening it will be chilly, 18 degrees by 8, 16 by 11, but we're only going to drop down to right around 11 degrees, maybe 10 degrees around the area. So not terribly cold tonight. Not as cold as it got this morning when it dropped to 1 below. But just remember, you still need to bundle up though if you're heading out this evening.
All right, thank you, John, and thank you for joining us.
World News Tonight is up next. We'll see you back here at 6.
With the Channel 8 Eyewitness News mobile app, you'll be the first to know. Get alerts about breaking news and weather, all in the palm of your hand.
At Comfort Made Mattress Factory, we build each mattress specifically for you, right here in our locally owned store. We can even make his side different than hers, backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee.
Closed captioning on Channel 8 Eyewitness News is brought to you by Christensen Hearing.